Hi everyone, welcome to Model Gaming Show. I'm GWFawkes, and we just got a few stories tonight. Nothing big, no major news that's really worth elaborating on. So I just want to get to it, have a quick show, and maybe do a little editorial at the end. So the only big game releasing this week, if you can call it that, is EA's UFC 3. An open critic, it has a 77 out of 100. Just okay. It's kind of what the other games have gotten to. And they've added cool things like Bruce Lee as a playable character and whatnot, but they just seem like they still haven't figured out the mechanics right and bringing together a complete package. Couple of Nintendo things to talk about that I want to elaborate a little bit on. The first is Nintendo announced that they are creating a new Super Mario Brothers animated movie. They didn't give any release date or anything like that, just that it's in development. And I used to watch the Super Mario Brothers show back when I was younger, and I thought it was great, the live action show. And everyone's seen the pretty bad movie that they did with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo, but it still has a certain charm that you can go and watch it, and yeah, it's cheesy, but it's still fun. But I'm excited because Mario is probably the most recognizable brand, maybe outside of Ronald McDonald's, in the world. Definitely one of the largest that everyone of all ages knows Mario, and so to have an animated movie makes sense. It's smart, and it's something that I'm surprised it took Nintendo that long to do. The next is the bigger announcement. So Nintendo, when they announced the Switch, said they would have an online component, and that hasn't surfaced, and everyone's been wondering where it's at. It's almost been a year since launch, and they finally announced that it would be launching September of 2018, so not 8 months from now, say. This is important, and it's finally Nintendo catching up to Sony and Microsoft after years, but at the same time, it is only going to be $20, and they've backtracked on a lot of what their services are going to be and provide. So I'm curious as to what this online service will even be. Right now you can play games online for free, but that's going to change with this service. Again, $20 a year is not a lot. Microsoft's is 60, Sony's I think is the same, 50 or 60. So $20 a year is not asking for much, but with Nintendo's track record of their online stability issues and capability issues for their previous systems, this doesn't really evoke a lot of confidence. It just seems like, great, we're having an online thing. And I guess what's so frustrating and what everyone gets frustrated about is that Nintendo's online could be fantastic. They have probably the greatest wealth of best catalog that everyone knows, that they could put up instantly for everyone online for them to play and download to the Switch. I mean, there's emulators already running GameCube games on the Switch. and Wii games already running on there. So it's the Nintendo Switch could be the system that unifies everything, and it could do it through this online service. Especially if that comes with a virtual console-like thing. They might not call it a virtual console anymore. They might drop that name now that it's just Nintendo Online. But everyone's gonna buy Super Mario World again for $5. And it would be nice that starting here, that they do what Xbox is doing and Sony is doing, is that you keep one username throughout your next several systems, and you can take all the games that you've ever bought with you. I mean, when I bought the Wii, I bought a bunch of games, and then I got a Wii U, and I had to buy those same games over again. That's extremely frustrating, and frankly, a little bit short-sighted by Nintendo, and really not treating your customers well. It's making them buy the same game 2-3 times. That's ridiculous. And again, this is a re-release, so a lot of these same people might have already bought it when they originally came out. Especially me. I think I've bought Nintendo or A Link to the Past, like 5 or 6 times at this point. So I'd like to just buy it one more time and take it with me wherever. I do have hope for it, though. I hope Nintendo has learned from Microsoft and Sony and makes improvements. The multiplayer aspect of Splatoon 2 it was atrocious. You had to have a phone, and it was so convoluted and so dumb, especially when Microsoft and Sony have been doing online matchmaking for over 10 years now. Just think about that. For 10 plus years, 12 years at least, Microsoft and Sony have had chat in games and all that stuff, and Nintendo's just still twiddling their thumbs. Couple of sad news things that go together. The first is the delay of Red Dead Redemption 2. So this is my most anticipated game of this year. It was supposed to come out in the spring, I think was what they say, of 2018. So everyone was thinking March, and it's now been given a firm release date, which is great, but it's not great. It's 6 months later, so it's October 26th, 2018. And they basically came out and said, because they're Rockstar and that game's going to be guaranteed to sell 20 million units, so it doesn't matter how long it takes to come out. But they basically said, yeah, honestly, we're just doing a lot of new stuff and we need more time to polish it. And everyone just went, yep, sounds cool. And that's what you have to do when you're when you're dealing with Rockstar games. I mean, Grand Theft Auto is still in the top 10 of the sales charts every month, and the game is 3 years old. So it still has staying power. Whether Red Dead Redemption can maintain that is another thing. How robust is their online mode going to be? You obviously know it's going to be something like Grand Theft Auto, but this is not a modern world. There's no cars and no helicopters. There's nothing like that. You have a horse and you have a dude and you're shooting guns. So maybe they involve trains. Maybe they involve something else. What kind of modes are they going to bring? Battleground mode is all the rage right now, right? Are they going to have their own battleground type mode? Probably. Maybe at launch, who knows? They have another 6 months. So when all's said and done, this game was actually supposed to come out fall of 2017. So it's been delayed about a year, and I might be mistaken, but it actually might have been delayed to fall of 2017. So it might be like 18 months of delays. But yeah, it's still my most anticipated game. They released some new screenshots. It looks like real life. It looks amazing. It's, again, I love Westerns. It's something the romantic nature of it, I guess, and the storytelling they always do. There's just something great about watching a Western, and getting to play one is even more special. So there's so many questions unanswered, but I'm sure this summer at E3 it's going to be no holds barred, and they're just going to release a ton of information and get everyone super hyped. So very much looking forward to that. And the second delay, if you can call it that, and I'll get into that in a second, is Anthem. Always had a what they call a winter release date, right? A fall 2018 or winter 2018 kind of release date. They had never actually committed to that. They just said, in the fall. But you've got to remember that most fiscal years for companies end in March of the next year. So essentially they just said, yeah, we're not going to make the 2018 deadline, but we're going to hit early 2019. So the reason this is important is Jason Schreier for Kotaku, excuse me, released a great article, not condemning anyone or not really bad-mouthing anyone, but just saying there's a lot of trouble behind Anthem, and that the game is changing quite a bit in reaction to all the bad press that EA has been having and news, and that it's changing what the game is, for better or worse, we don't know, but it seems like for the better. And so basically the insiders that he got to talk, they're just like, yeah, there's no way we're making this 2018 release window, right? And so EA just comes out and goes, hey, they're making it a big deal. It's coming out early 2019. That's still the window that we said. You're just trying to make a story. And to some extent, he's right. They never said it was coming out in 2018. And for me, just like Red Dead, EA, take as long as you want. BioWare, take as long as you want with these games. Polish them as best you can. Make them the best possible experiences, because these are games that people are going to be playing for years to come. And that's always exciting when you get games that are that broad and you can play for years. I'm still looking forward to Anthem. I know there's a lot of doubt, I think, because of BioWare's track record recently and the tumultuous nature of the game behind the scenes. But at the same time, it's super ambitious, and it's still by one of the best studios in the business, and now they've gotten even more time. They have essentially another year plus to finish this up and polish and really learn from the mistakes made by EA with Star Wars Battlefront and all their little microtransaction BS things. They're going to be in there, but it might be give it a better chance to change aspects for the better. So that's kind of it for tonight for the show. Just the main things I want to come across with the two delays are that video companies need to learn more to delay games, especially I know they're trying to hit and appease their investors, but these are two of the biggest games, and look at Take-Two compared to EA and how they reacted, like hitting numbers and stuff. Take-Two knows that they have a guaranteed hit on their hands, and so they let it cook, and they want Rockstar to release the best game possible. Where EA, they care less about the best game possible, and oh well, we got to hit our numbers. The only fortunate thing is, and their reasoning for pushing it, right? Not that it needs the work, but that they just want to put some extra polish on it, right? Their reasoning is, hey, we've got Battlefield coming out in October. We'd rather release it early next year to give it a more space to breathe. That's perfectly valid and probably true. The beginning of the years are always a little bit slow anyways, and this is a massive game with a online community that needs to match it, and you have to give them time. The holiday, you're going to have that rush, and then everyone gets burned out in January from catching up, and then so I think they should release it in like March. I think if they can release it in March or late January, like Monster Hunter World just did this year, I think that would be a great move for all parties involved. So that's it. Thank you guys for joining and watching tonight. I know it was on the shorter side, but it was a slow news week, and this is the Model Gaming Show. I'm here every Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time doing the show. I also stream Monday and Tuesday nights, 7:30 p.m. And the sign off, I hope you enjoyed your stay. It's good to have you with us, even if it's just for the day. Have a good night, everyone.